What's going on, everyone? I'm J.U. Kalkrick, former running back at Michigan State University. After college, I was blessed with the opportunity to play 5 years in the NFL for the New York Jets, San Francisco 49ers, and my hometown team, the Buffalo Bills. Now I'm a proud member of Team Zenith. With the Live Your Game spotlight, we turn the cameras on deserving coaches and players around the country to show us how they live their game.
On this episode of the Zenith Live Your Game Spotlight, we are excited to feature St. Stephen's Indian School from St. Stephen's, Wyoming. Coach Billy Brost here and senior Jude Jenkins joining us today. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So Coach, we'll start with you. How many years have you been coaching and what got you interested in this career?
Well, this fall will be my 25th year coaching overall. This is my 5th as the head football coach at St. Stephen's. I grew up playing football, played throughout high school, played 3 years of college, and, it was just pretty natural adjustment being a teacher, going from player to coach, and, starting out as a volunteer at various high schools across the country, and then starting to get paid a little bit. And then I decided, well, I might as well be a teacher too. So, got into it. And like I said, we took on this rebuild about 5 years ago. And, Jude's been with me since middle school. I was Jude's middle school coach. And so I'm myself and Coach Harrison, my assistant coach, we're the only coaches Jude has had. So we have this group that only knows us.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was the last player from the previous coach from years ago. So a lot of these young guys, they only know me barking at them now. So
yeah, that's awesome. I see Jude shaking his head. We can get into that a little later. Don't worry, Jude. So there's definitely a lot of similarities between teaching and coaching. So I can definitely see how that would have been a smooth transition. So what would you say the most enjoyable part of coaching is for you?
For me, it's getting to build relationships with my guys. I'm also the track coach here. Mm-hmm. So I get different athletes, whether it's fall or spring, but, getting to build the relationships with my players, whether they're in my classroom or not, and just building those lifelong relationships. I mean, I still talk to players that have played for me back when I was in my 20s, and I'm in my mid 40s now. And that's what I look forward to. The wins and losses are a byproduct of the work and the capability of the team year to year. But, knowing that I've got guys that they can lean on me whenever they need me, that's why I do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Jude, switching over to you, what positions do you play at St. Stephen's, and what do you look forward to most for your senior year?
I played quarterback for 3 years. And then this year I'm playing wide receiver.
Nice.
For my senior plans, I probably plan on going to college, keep on playing football, and then do what I best.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, quarterback and wide receiver are both obviously very important. So coach definitely trusts you a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Really cool. All right, so coach, can you speak to what the community and tradition around St. Stephen's means to you and your team?
We try to implement as much of our culture into what we do as much as possible. We are a Bureau of Indian Education grant-funded school. We have an enrollment of just over 100 to 110. We made the transition from being a 1A school here in Wyoming to a 2A school this last year because our enrollment continues to grow. Mm-hmm. I speak to elders on a pretty consistent basis and get their input on things they would like to see improved upon or included into what Coach Harrison and I do for both football and track, whether it's a uniform scheme or if there's an event coming up that they want one or both of our programs being involved in. It's very important to me that our student athletes understand their culture and their heritage. And as a social studies teacher, it's a big deal to me too. I'm a big history guy. I try to implement as much as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it sounds like you have both a tight-knit football team and athletic department and school and community. So on various levels, everyone's aligned on what's important, which is really great to hear. So you're kind of alluding to my next question, but both of you seem really involved in other areas of the school, not only just the football team. Jude, can you tell me a little about your involvement on the track team and how that's helped you on the football field?
Well, it helped me get in shape, and then, pretty much faster than last time. And then just kept me in shape for the rest of the season and prepared me for what the football season had, such as running and conditioning and all that type of stuff. And then also helped me out throwing as quarterback. And then that's pretty much it, really.
And more time with coach too. That's awesome. So what practice do you prefer better, track or football?
Mostly football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I've softened it a little bit over the years, not much, but just tell you, when we get to team camp, I'm a different guy than I am here on campus.
Yeah, you gotta put on your coaching hat and everything changes, right?
Yeah, and Jude got some reps at quarterback still, and he will continue to do so. We have 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now. Jude's the one I trust more than the other one, because I haven't coached the other one nearly as long. And I told them both, I said, I need you guys to be interchangeable, because it's about the team and it's about the system. And if everybody does their job, we're gonna enjoy success. And I said, Jude did well at team camp. He was a leader down there, and I expect him to maintain that role going into his final season with me, which is kind of weird to think about.
Yeah.
It feels like yesterday he was just coming into high school, and now we're going into our final run together. So
for sure. Well, it'll definitely be a special year for sure. So I noticed in some of the team pictures you sent, there was a lost season theme. Can you elaborate on what that symbolizes for you?
Well, for me, it's been very disappointing. I know for the boys, it was devastating, because when we started rebuilding this thing, 5 years ago, that this program, we haven't been to the postseason in 59 years.
Okay.
And piece by piece, I keep trying to bring kids in and put them into a position for us to succeed and knock down the wall and get into the postseason. Well, coming into 2020, we felt we had all the pieces in place. Usually it's year 3, year 4 when all your work comes to fruition in a full rebuild. And then with the pandemic, our tribal leaders felt it was better to keep our student athletes home at the beginning of the school year while the rest of the state was playing. So our school and our rival school, Wyoming Indian, they canceled our fall sports seasons. And so, the rug literally got taken out from under us. And the question was, will there be football ever again? Numbers so far have been, mediocre at best in terms of turnout. I'm hoping when August practice rolls around, we get another 5 to 10 guys out to give us a full roster. But he lost the season, and I can't give that back to him. I can give him everything, but I cannot give him that. My seniors this last year that just graduated here a month or so ago, I can't give that back to them, and that's something that's always going to bother me. It's just there's nothing tangible that I can give them to make up for what should have been a playoff run for us last year.
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely disappointing, but I'm sure your team knows how much you fought and were championed to make this season exist. So I know they appreciate all of those efforts. So Jude, these will be just some quick questions just to kind of get to know you a little bit better. So do you have any pregame traditions or any superstitions that you have to do before you take the field?
Not really, no, just try to stay focused and then try to help our team focus on doing our best out on the field and do what's best for us and everything.
I like that. All business. You don't need any extra help. So what do you just like to listen to any music before the game at all or before practice?
Usually before games, yeah, but not as much because I try to keep my mind focused and everything and all that.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite artists or type of music?
I listen to Thunderstruck by AC/DC before every game. So yeah.
Might be one of my favorite answers we've seen. I respect that.
Yeah.
So who's your, do you have a favorite college or NFL team?
For college, it would be Oregon Stone Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
For the
I see that's a controversial answer. We'll get to you soon, Coach, with the same questions. Don't worry. It is cool. They do always have those eye-catching uniforms, some will say. All right, so Coach, same questions. Do you have any pregame rituals before the game?
Well, I don't sleep a whole lot anyways. I try to get a good night's sleep night before game. I generally don't though. I try and watch film, and I try to, after our warm up, our pregame night before game, I'll try and detach a little bit and spend a little more time with my kids than I do during the week. Football's crazy time, so I try and spend the night before game a little more time with my kids and not think about football, but it's tough during the season.
Yeah, my dad was actually a football coach growing up too, so I know the night before the game is kind of your sacred time with dad. So it's really cool that you guys have that same tradition. That's awesome. So who's your favorite college team or NFL team?
Well, I have two favorite college teams, UNLV, which is usually the basement dwellers of the Mountain West Conference. I graduated from UNLV, and
Okay.
then I'm a Florida Gators guy.
Nice.
And then for pro football, I grew up a John Elway guy. So I was, I'm still a Broncos fan, and
Yeah.
they haven't been real good in quite a while now, but Jude's a Raiders guy. I'm a Broncos guy.
Okay.
I'm a little torn. I quietly say that, I root for the Raiders now that they're in Las Vegas. Because Vegas kind of my adopted hometown. I spent a lot of years there. My son was born there.
Oh, cool.
That's where I got my first head coaching job. And so Vegas is near and dear to my heart. So I quietly keep an eye on the Raiders. And when they do well, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Now, when they were in Oakland and LA, I was like, no, they can go down with everyone else.
Yeah, it's good to have some options. That's awesome. So any other facts? I know you mentioned your family. How many kids do you have?
I have three. I have a daughter. She's 22. She's a senior, goes to college on the East Coast. She goes to Stockton College.
Okay.
And then I have an 11-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're all athletes. I mean, my daughter plays softball, and my son runs track and plays baseball and plays football. And
yeah.
My youngest is a soccer player. She loves soccer. And, my son gives her a lot of grief about that.
Mm-hmm.
Tells her it's not an American sport.
That's funny. Well, athleticism obviously runs in the family. That's fun. You'll have something in common.
Yeah.
Really cool. All right. So, so for Jude, so what does this summer look like for you as you prepare for your senior year?
Just work on arms, a lot of weight, and then just prepare for the season. Have a knee injury, so try to keep that safe and work on that a bit more, and then just prepare for the season.
Yeah. Is there a certain game on the upcoming schedule that you're looking forward to the most?
It would have to be Wyoming Indian.
Nice. Yeah, I know Coach mentioned that earlier. So Coach, what about you? What are you looking forward to for this upcoming season?
Just having a season.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't, when you've been coaching a lot of years, you take it for granted that there's always going to be a next season.
Mm-hmm.
Like any other coach, I've been shown the door in various roles, whether it's been as an assistant or a head coach. And yes, assume there's always going to be another job, another season to come. And to lose last year, it makes you really appreciate how blessed we really are to have high school athletics or collegiate athletics, and to be able to do that and work with those kids. That was the toughest thing for me this school year, because we're in distance learning 2/3 of the year. And it wasn't until the last couple of months of the school year where kids were allowed to be back in the building. And, kids that I've known forever, I didn't get to see for months at a time. And it was
Yeah.
Zooms and it was emails and it was, Facebook Messenger, trying to keep kids on task to pass their classes. That's what I look forward to, is just having a season and having a building with kids again.
Yeah, of course. It definitely makes everyone appreciate the moment, but especially during practice when everyone can finally see each other again.
Right. I mean, I know a lot of kids are like, oh, practice, we're gonna have to run, we're gonna have to do this. Since we were able to have spring football, have track, and then obviously team camp. We went over to Shadron State for that. The kids' attitudes, that I think they embraced it a little more, things they normally wouldn't embrace and enjoy. I think they were just happy to be there and have the opportunity to have a practice and to be able to run and, just to be around the teammates and the staff. You can definitely see a change and more of an appreciation for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll keep it going the rest of the year onto the season for sure. Is there anything else you'd like to say about your program while we have you here?
Just that I'm very proud of the kids that have come through, the kids that I have now. I feel we're building a good tradition here. And while we're still on the porch trying to bust through and get to the postseason, I feel like every year's group can be that group. And one of these times it's going to happen. And again, a total rebuild when there wasn't a football tradition prior. It's tough rebuilding it from the ground up. And the boys and the families and the community have embraced us. We're one of 7 high schools here in Fremont County. We're one of the smaller high schools, but we get probably the most attention or close to it because we're always out doing something. We always have an activity, or we're giving back to the community, doing a service project, something like that, or a photo shoot like we did,
Yeah,
earlier. Got a lot of positive feedback on that. And then
yeah, it
when
looked great.
we did the last season photo and people really got excited about that. Wow, that's, it's pretty ballsy to do that. It's like, I want those kids to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
They had a right to be acknowledged. They got a season torn away from them and there's no getting it back. And I wanted to do something that they could, that's the least I could do for them, was to acknowledge that they were a part of this program. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're definitely staying up for your team and your kids. And it takes a lot of strong leaders, both on the coaching staff and the team to see it through a rebuild. So we'll definitely be rooting for you guys this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So on behalf of Zenith, thank you both and the rest of your team for being a supporter of the brand. We're really proud to have you represent Zenith on the field. I know you and Justin have a great relationship. And Coach, I know we've talked a couple of times, so it's really great to meet you virtually. But yeah, this was awesome. You both are great. It was a really awesome conversation. Like I mentioned, we'll be following you all throughout the year and can't wait to see how much success you have.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. We're excited to break out the new helmets and the new uniforms, and our middle school, they've got the Zenith uniforms, and everybody's excited about the new digs.